Hello, we are Group 3 and we would like to discuss our product REMergize. Before we go into detail about the device itself, I'd like to cover a little background, including the millions of Americans affected by sleep disorders. According to a study done in 2012, 40 million people suffer from a chronic sleep disorder. 70 million suffer from insomnia, 18 million suffer from sleep apnea, 200,000 suffer from narcolepsy, and 20 million suffer from restless leg syndrome. Due to lack of sleep, an estimated cost of $18 billion to U.S. employers was reported. This could be money lost in your company by exhausted employees. On top of that, 1,550 fatal car crashes are reported annually due to falling asleep at the wheel, plus an additional 40,000 non-fatal car crashes but included injury, also attributed to drivers sleeping at the wheel. On top of these obvious health hazards, 49.2 million people prefer to think and daydream rather than fall asleep, attributing to lack of rest. We believe this is due to lack of dreaming and fear of boring sleep. REMergize is effective in inducing rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep, which in turn then gives the user more restful sleep as well as included dreaming. There will be a large demand for this product once released into the market, whether it be for desired recreational use in terms of dreaming, or used for deeper sleep, individually sought out or doctor prescribed. The market opportunity for REMergize is huge and will be for several years. The device is a nanostrand placed into the limbic region of the brain. It produces electrical stimulation directly into the brain, stimulating a more restful REM sleep. The device is also wirelessly connected to a remote device in which the user can program the device to go off at a specific time, much like an alarm clock, or can trigger the device at any specific moment. The user can also control the intensity of the stimulation and the length of time they would like the stimulation to continue. For obvious safety reasons, such as the misuse of the remote or lack of planning on the user's part, the user must be within 6 feet of the remote for the device to work. We advise keeping the device next to where the user will be sleeping. Bringing the remote out and about or in the car will be misuse. REMergize also has a unique competitive edge over competitors. This nanostrand technology is relatively new, and the idea of using a nanostrand to stimulate the brain and induce restful sleep is undone aside from REMergize. With nanostrand technology being so complex and new, we feel adding the stimulation qualities and effectiveness of REMergize are too unique and complex to be easily replicated. Also, the nanostrand will only be implanted by doctors under contract with the company and to patients under contract to keep the technology a trade secret. In the patient's case, this means they can only get REMergize removed by a doctor under contract as well. Since the nanostrand is an implant, there will be no reverse engineering possible by other companies. Once again, protecting the trade secret, we feel confident in saying that REMergize is the most effective product to use in terms of lack of sleep, with no close competitors. The only real competition REMergize has is the classic remedy of melatonin or sleeping pills. While this old solution may work well for an individual the first few times of use, the body of the user will build up a resistance to the remedy over time, and the user is back to square one with their sleeping issues. This problem also contributes to users overdosing on their sleeping pills while trying to take an effective amount. Rather than tampering with your body by forcing potentially harmful chemicals into it, REMergize is a safe and effective stimulation that will never need to be upped in power just to be effective. As stated earlier, the market for REMergize is enormous. Whether it be medicinal use or recreational use, we require all those who undergo the implant to be at least 18 years of age. If prescribed by a doctor for sleeping disorders, we will accept those under 18. Even with this age restriction, the market has no boundaries, as it can be used by all those who choose to use it worldwide. The numbers previously discussed showed just how many people in America could benefit from REMergize. Millions. We plan to gain an even larger market by advertising in all forms of media to gain attention. We believe that the more the public understands this device and the way it works, the more apt they are to try it. We will also be offering REMergize at a rental option to those who are not quite sure if they're ready to fully commit to the device. Rental will be offered in a month-to-month contract, offered at 1/10 the permanent cost. As far as our company's operations go, our team is involved in both the research and development aspect, as well as the clinical trials, production, and marketing of REMergize. Our group consists of engineers of all aspects in order to stay well-rounded from start to market of this device. Even after market, our team would like to continue developing REMergize to fit consumers' needs. Because of this, we will be not only listening for consumer feedback, but asking for it in the form of surveys, doctor checkups, or even just experience letters like fan mail. Here is where we are asking for help. We are confident in our device and its ability to bring in a decent revenue. In order to see our device hit the market in large quantities, however, we need grants to fund the research, development, and marketing. We predict this endeavor to have the same budget of a pacemaker's project, which is about $30 million. For the $2 billion in revenue we expect to see within the first year, the $30 million is a small, smart investment. All money coming from grants will be directly applied to the necessary expenses that come along with research and development, as well as compensation for clinical studies and the largest sum of money going towards getting the product on the market in mass production. We expect revenue to come in rapidly when first released and eventually plateau into a steady income.
So when taking a deeper look at the financial side of REMergize, the projections are typical and definitely fruitful. As expected, the large number of startup costs, especially when it comes to the research needed to successfully create a product such as ours, is definitely not cheap. The complex methods and tests performed in order to provide our researchers the data needed from the human body and brain costs a pretty penny. Though we expect a good few $1 billion in revenue in the startup, after the costs needed are factored in, the early quarters and nearly the entirety of the first year, a loss in net income is expected and projected. But again, this is typical of a product of this caliber. However, by the final quarter of the first year, our team is certain that the profit will already begin to balance out with the costs and begin the climb to bringing our company bountiful sums of profit. With our precise projections, we expect that Year 2 will provide the standard of our returns in revenue for the next coming years. This return will continue to increase each and every year with a near exponential growth in profit for the years that follow. This trend is expected to and will continue for at least about 3 years, until we then will begin to see the expected plateauing of profit, with which we can easily expect tens of billions of dollars consistently being brought into the company for each and every year to come. Now, as you can see here, shown on screen, we are providing you with the precise tables and graphs of our projections predicted by us at REMergize. Also, it should be noted that the numbers are all displayed in millions. To put that into perspective, the numbers recorded in the gross revenues row would then translate into the actual billions of dollars projected as a minimum possible intake for the company. Now, as you can see within our graph, which should now be shown on screen, the blue line signifies the amount of gross revenue expected in the first few years within the company. It's plain to see that the graph quickly grows to be exponential after the first year. This exponential growth means that our customers are happy with their procedures and that we are happy with our success. Now when the total expenses, shown here in orange, are factored into that said revenue, the resulting line is the net income, which also shows clearly a nice and steady sum for the company. Now, where this line shows to be peaking is actually the minimum expected profit for the following years, a line which actually correlates to be more than $10 billion in gross profit per year. It is then that the profit expects to plateau or steady out, with a slight increase each year in profit. Also note that these are just predictions, and that the amount of profit can most definitely be greater, and again, such a trend is not at all unexpected. So please, join us in our exciting and rewarding journey in providing the next best thing in the world of sleep disorders. We are passionate and confident in the success of REMergize, and would like to extend this profitable venture onto you. All you need to do is invest. Invest in REMergize, and be part of our product's rise to fame and riches. We can't do it without your cooperation and support, and there is no reason to sit around and fantasize about what could have been. Thank you for hearing us out, and also for expressing your interest in REMergize. Trust us, we are just as excited as you. Lend us your hand here at REMergize, because we're going to take you on the ride to greatness.